Welcome back to the Writer's Block, where we are having a conversation with one of the great Jamaican songwriters, Bob Andy. Bob Andy.
Yes, sir.
You have taken us a bit through your past. Let's talk a little bit about songwriting. At what point did you recognize that your lyrics sounded better in song than the average person, to put it that way?
It was never at that point.
Mm-hmm.
No. I never did anything out of comparison. I just did what I had to do when I had to do it.
But your songs. I mean, you have good songs and you have bad songs and you have hits. And I know you're a humble man, but some songs are good songs.
Not just,
yes.
I've read comments in various magazines that various writers have said that I over the years have what's the word I use? The fact that I don't readily accept these laudits,
Yeah, I understand. But
my thing is this: for who I am, and it's becoming.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I did was going to have that touch about it. It just so happens that we're in a business where we get a lot of attention. And if you things stand out, they get even more attention.
Sure.
But it wasn't that set out and say, well, I'm going to be the best songwriter. When I was about 14, I wrote a song called Girl of My Dreams. And then about 6 months after, I heard an American title called Girl of My Dreams by a group called The Cliques.
Mm-hmm.
And so the confidence I had out of that was that if I could, as a Jamaican without any kind of exposure, could come up with a topic, and then hear a topic from a developed country that is the same topic as mine, addressing just about, the lyrics and the melody are different, but the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, well, because, we still look up, a lot of people still look up to America.
Yeah.
So I said, well, wow.
But there is a skill, though, that is songwriting. There is that thing that people do.
Okay, that thing
that produces a good song. And I'm sure that
for me, that thing that you're talking about, the thing is to be in a place at a time, because not many of my songs have I sat down to write with a pen and I come out of a situation with an idea or a song. When I know I am really flying is when I get lyrics and melody at the same time.
So then your songs are reflections of what is happening in your life at the time?
Or what is happening in life.
In life, generally.
Yes.
So
and from my perspective.
So on one hand you said you were a bit shy, but artistically and creatively you're not a shy man. You're not afraid to express.
I'm not afraid to put my ideas out there, but I think, well, okay. I think I've never doubted my ideas.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't want to contribute them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm hard on myself. So there are lots of songs that I've come up with that a lot of people would probably consider it a hit if they had written it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just put it aside because I'm not convinced by the work.
Okay.
Because of how harshly I judge myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I never was threatened in being able to come up with a musical idea.
Okay. So if I ask you right now,
to this moment.
If I ask you right now to do a theme song for Writer's Block, how long would it take to come up with that?
Well,
that's the pressure.
No, it could come now.
It could come.
I mean, before I connected a certain mood or state of mind with a word that I later know as depression for that particular state. Whenever I felt that way, I just said to myself, well, let's see how far down you can go.
That's very interesting. So if the good music, how do you really do? When you say good music,
Mark,
how do you measure good music? Is it in terms of the audience response?
There's no good or bad music.
Yes.
It's the influence from the music. What is it? What inspired it? What is it influencing? How is it inspiring people?
And how is the music made? I mean, when you made music in your time, you wrote a song a certain way, laid down a track a certain way. Now it's a little different. It's a little more fast-paced, more commercialized. It's a different kind of thing. And does that mean that the music, in terms of the classical sense?
No, the music itself is wonderful, you know. The music, because I mean, what we refer to as dancehall is very Afro, very African in expression. And it's the lyrics of these songs, because the music itself is, like I said,
I see.
The rhythm, the percussion is wonderful.
Yeah.
The musical makeup, if it's rhythmic, it's great. But it has this driving feeling, driving intensity that I think it, the youth of today who are much more Afrocentric than our generation.
Yes.
Because one of the problems I find in the Caribbean is that all our leaders have gone through westernized education.
Yes.
And so nothing to do with Africa. I mean,
Yes.
we might know a little bit about Marcus Garvey, and if you're a student who studies Egypt or Africa, then, but in a general sense, now, all of these youth grew up hearing about, from artists like myself, hearing about Nelson Mandela, hearing about Africa, hearing about repatriation. And the feel they have is almost a resurgence of African retention. Because how did this dancehall thing, how did this percussive rhythm just come about? Almost like Janko now. And it's just...
So the music is okay, it's the lyrics that we have to watch.
Yes.
Does the songwriter then have a social responsibility beyond just the expression of his environment as it is?
Well, I would think that in as far as that society can be ordered, in a well-ordered society, everything would find its place. So, if you did like, there are X-rated films, there are X-rated CDs, there are X-rated DVDs. There are some rap songs in America. It states on the jacket that this is an X-rated, so you don't have to expose the child to it. You know what I'm saying? And that is not going to prevent the children from, because if you tell them not to, that's exactly what they want to see.
But the society will organize itself around it.
But what happens is, we're living in a declining world, you know. We're living in a declining world. To the extent where it almost seems as if God doesn't like the poor. Because all these monstrosities and cruelties that happen to people only always happen to poor people.
That's an interesting point. And so, if it opens a whole religious argument, which I'd love to discuss, you know, but because then you're going to question whether or not, you know, God exists, because it's just the poor.
Well,
but in the music, how important is God in the music?
Then that depends on the perception of God that one has. You understand? Okay, it's a perception as far as I'm concerned. Now, if it is the only way this person is going to be able to feed family and friends and to have a good living, how can you tell them that what they do is bad?
But, well, that's no excuse, really. I want to go back a little bit.
But there is place for that music, you know. When I was growing up, there was Haggin and my cocoa I wrote up my minty.
Yes, yes.
Mongoose.
All right, I get the point, yes.
So it's not like it's a new recent phenomenon. That aspect of our suggestiveness, sensual suggestiveness, was always lurking there.
But all of the process work, though, like if I am a man, if I can write lyrics and I want to write for a great singer, how does that process work from my mind to the thing?
In many ways, if you are the thing to do is to have a recording that gets published. This is the best evidence you can have of being a would-be songwriter, is to be able to show, have someone something to listen to.
Okay.
A demonstration copy, get the music in its most final state and have someone listen to it. If you are well lined up genetically linked. In whatever era, you can be a songwriter who a publisher will find singers for your song. Because your lyrics, especially if you're a person who writes your own lyrics and your own melodies, you can fashion melodies that singers will just love.
I see. And there is a way.
Not everyone that writes a song is going to get a song published.
That is true. But it's just to get a sense of what are the possibilities, you know.
I would say I would, if I never knew a singer or a musician, but I felt like I could write a good song, I'd write a good song and then find a relevant person.
But to sing it?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
I'm sure you know there are workshops and there are set places that people will go to, but there's just a person in the street who have an idea that, you know, maybe I think I'm a songwriter. I wonder if someone else would find interest in my song. You know, if you sit, you won't find that out. You have to follow through.
Finally, wow. Has music given to you all you expected and hoped from it?
Well, I'd say materially.
Materially, spiritually, in every way.
Well, life is growth and development. And because everything I understand through life, I understand through music. My understanding of music is how I judge the other things. I guess if I were a psychiatrist or a scientist of sort, I would see life through the eyes of science. I'd hope so.
Yes.
Because I'd hate to be a student who just studied science because I could pass it, but come out and work as a contractor.
Exactly. So you're happy where you are, musically?
Happiness is not a stable thing.
Okay.
So I've had happy times, and I'm just working on some material at this moment, and when I put the lyrics and the melody to the rhythm, I smile a lot because I say, wow, it's all still there and more richly too.
And as you say, life is a combination of the happy times and the good times and the sad times and the negative and the positive.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Babandi,
life is all about.
Babandi, I trust you. I could sit at your feet and talk all day about music and life.
You can sit in the chair.
Sit in the chair. No, I thank you for appearing on the Writer's Block and talk about your life.
That's just rapping, really.
Yes, it's just rapping. Yeah. And that is what the block is about. You come, you hang out, and you talk.
This is a place where you don't have to have a block.
Exactly. You don't have to have a block. And we're going to come back to you for that theme song one day. We'd like to thank Babandi for dropping by the Writer's Block, hanging out with us, and we learned so much. And this is Garfield Ellis signing off. See you next time. Bye.
Can't get no clothes to wear, can't get no food to eat, can't get a job to get dressed. That's why I've got to